With the newly revealed official Poppy Playtime artwork, I've been thinking a lot about what Lilly could be like in Chapter 6. So in this video, we're going to analyze what might happen to her next. Just sit back, relax, and put the world on pause, because we're getting started right now. It's incredible how much has been revealed about Lilly and her earliest villain concepts for Poppy Playtime. Let's begin with her very first sketch. We need to keep in mind that a character concept serves as a guide for building a design until it reaches its final version. Just because the final design changes doesn't mean the ideas behind those concepts are discarded. In fact, they can still tell us something the developers originally wanted to show, but later hid, removed, or left implied. And if you don't believe me, ask ChatGPT. What I mean by this is that my analysis will focus on Lilly's essence, the message each concept was trying to convey, until we arrive at her final and official design. The first design that gave life to the idea of Lilly is this one. Despite her clown-painted face, several ideas remained all the way to the final version. Things like the tea party table and Lilly's hair, which functioned similarly to Dr. Octopus's tentacles from Spider-Man. But there's a third idea that I find even more interesting. Although it didn't make it into the final design, it may still be implied. I'm referring to the possibility that Lilly's hair possesses its own consciousness. We know Lilly can control her hair freely, but what we've never asked is, how did Playtime Company actually achieve this? Take an experiment like Dowie, for example. We know 3 children reside within him. Each one has a role and controls a specific part of his body and mind. So the question is, could the same thing be true for Lilly? What if Lilly's hair is also controlled by a separate consciousness from the main experiment? That would mean there are essentially 2 people sharing one body. The Lilly we know controls the primary body, while another consciousness resides within the hair itself, allowing Lilly to manipulate it. We know Lilly spent 122 days in isolation after being captured by the Smiling Critters in 1995, following the events of the Hour of Joy. First, Ms. Gracie's mind was successfully transferred into the Lilly toy. Then the conditioning process began. Now, while this could simply be evidence of Gracie's own descent into madness, it's never been confirmed whether this personality belongs to the same mind. It's possible she shares her body with an entirely different consciousness. What we don't know is whether only Ms. Gracie was transferred into the toy, or if another mind was transferred alongside her, perhaps the mind of a young girl. As time passes, Ms. Gracie struggles to maintain control over her identity. However, her alter ego eventually takes over, becoming the crazed Lilly personality. Interestingly, the personality that primarily controls Lilly doesn't seem to remember being Ms. Gracie. Yet the fact that Lilly keeps Gracie's remains in her room feels like something influenced by the Doctor's original consciousness. The next piece of early Lilly concept art was the zombified version. From this concept, the large monster-like eyes remained. However, what catches my attention is how closely it resembles a theory I once had. Before Chapter 5 released, I theorized we would encounter Frankenstein-style experiments due to several hints that had been shown. What I'm trying to say is that maybe we shouldn't automatically assume Lilly's split personality is solely the result of insanity and brainwashing during those 122 days of conditioning. Maybe something much darker happened. Maybe she was forced to share a single body with another human consciousness. I imagined Prototype 1006 acting like Victor Frankenstein, creating new creatures of his own. This version would have essentially been a Franken Lilly, but in the end, I think this aesthetic was replaced by the reverse toys, since those became the official creations of 1006. Lilly, meanwhile, retained a design much closer to her original toy appearance. Even so, this remains my favorite early Lilly concept. There were also 2 additional concepts that, in my opinion, were among the strangest and least appealing. One depicted Lilly as entirely made of hair from head to toe in her monster form. The other showed a miniature version of her, similar in size to Poppy. Both concepts were ultimately discarded completely. And so we arrive at the final version of Lilly that we know today. Her calm form and her monstrous form, a design that combines the essence of all previous concepts into the Lilly we recognize now. However, there's something many people may not have considered. How could Lilly look in Chapter 6 after surviving both the fall and the crushing damage to her face? We already know Lilly became extremely upset when she realized she didn't have a nose. So what happens when she realizes her face has been completely destroyed? Because that's exactly how she might appear in Chapter 6, with her face shattered beyond repair and several other parts of her body damaged as well. And here's an observation of my own. Could Ms. Gracie's corpse actually foreshadow Lilly's future appearance? If you look closely, the bones in Ms. Gracie's remains are broken from her skull all the way down to her fingers, as if she had been crushed. The exact same thing happened to Lilly Lovebraids. It's also possible that the only way Lilly can recover is by abusing the parasitic Poppy gel. If that's the case, we may see a much darker version of her, more decayed, unstable, and completely out of control. Very similar to the version imagined by animator Buggy Huggy in one of his videos. But that's not all. There's another topic that almost nobody has discussed, and I think now is the perfect time to bring it up. In Ms. Gracie's recordings, we don't just hear how she was kidnapped by the smiling critters to be experimented on. It's also heavily implied that her colleague Rod was captured as well. For those who don't remember, Rod was the co-worker of the mysterious child associated with Rich. That child eventually lost his temper because of the bullying he suffered from Rod. It seems this encounter happened long before Rod became Ms. Gracie's co-worker, meaning the incident with the mysterious child may have taken place years before the Hour of Joy. By then, Rod was likely much older. The point is that we don't know exactly what happened to him. We know Ms. Gracie was communicating with him when suddenly he stopped responding. Popular fan animations have invented a character named Rory, Lily's supposed brother, portrayed as a superhero toy. While none of that is official, what if Rod actually plays an important role in Chapter 6? If he was captured and worked in a position similar to Ms. Gracie's, then death may have been the most merciful outcome available to both of them, which means it's very possible the smiling critters, under the orders of Prototype 1006, also experimented on Rod, potentially creating a male counterpart to Lilly Lovebraids. It's even possible that Rod was the one who helped Lilly after her fall in Chapter 5. But that's only a theory, so how likely is it that we'll see Lilly return? We already know that after the fall, Lily's body was nowhere to be found where she landed. That's strange and highly suspicious, but during Lily's final interview with Giblet, she says something very interesting.
I guess our game is over. Okay, there's always a next time. Thanks for playing.
We already know Lily's philosophy revolves around making us play games, much like Mommy Longlegs, so it's entirely possible that in Chapter 6 we'll be forced to play one more game with her. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications, leave a comment, and smash that powerful like button.